Hey, Marty, can you hear me okay?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Are you great?
Doing just fine, man. Nice to see you.
Likewise, likewise. Thanks for making the time. I'm going to say good morning, but it's good evening out here. And I just learned the biggest lesson of all, daylight savings time. Does it not exist in Japan or it does not? Okay. So certain parts of the world, it just doesn't exist. So now I know. Okay. So good morning. Is your day going so far so fine?
It's all good, man. Nice to see you here.
Likewise, the new album, Tokyo Jukebox 3, implies it's a sequel, it's a series, and all that. Do you have in your mind that there's going to be like 14 of them, or is it one album at a time?
I hope there's 14 of them. I love doing it. It's a thrill. It's a huge, massive challenge every time, but I
Yeah.
hope there's tons of them.
Yeah, I remember from an old friend, Scott Murphy. I don't know if you ever encountered him. Okay, you know Scott. His band Alistair started doing covers albums around '05, '06, something around there. And it seemed to be this big craze in Japan of covers album that peaked and then flopped. And then now it's back again, which is a wonderful thing. For you, is it a big challenge to pare down the songs?
Yes. If you're going to do a cover, there's got to be a purpose to the fact that I'm actually doing the cover. It can't just be,
Right.
oh, I like it, so I'm covering it. You've got to find like these miracle connections with the song. All of a sudden something breaks and it becomes something new and wonderful rather than just paying homage to a song that you like.
Yeah.
It's got to, I really destroy the songs before I really do. It's like with all the love in my heart, I completely destroy the songs, wreck them completely, and then reconstruct them with the essence of the original song, but also with a new purpose, so it can be a complete option to the original, and also hopefully make people curious to hear what the original was outside of Japan. In Japan, everybody knows the originals.
Yeah.
Outside of Japan, no one really knows the originals. So there's that in the process, really, because knowing that I'm going to play this stuff worldwide, it's really it's kind of a responsibility to do it in such a way that I'll drag people into checking out the originals.
Yeah, you are known to be a musical encyclopedia. I'm the one complimenting you here. You didn't call yourself that. And I know it all started for you with the Ramones and Kiss, like most people in the hard rock world. And then you got a little more mature. And then you came back to the Ramones and Kiss and all that in the best of ways. But one of the things that fascinates me about the music scene of Japan is how many American artists that we think of as these legendary Mount Rushmore artists who either never toured Japan or never meant anything in Japan. Like, from what I understand, Tom Petty was never a big deal in Japan. The Replacements, who cares? But then you talk about the Ventures, and they outsold the Beatles supposedly 2-1 in the '60s in Japan. Have you ever chosen a song for one of your compilations or to cover, and you show to the label or management, they go, who? We've never heard of them.
Well, I've never really covered non-Japanese artists.
In the past,
So
you have, but
I have.
I thought you have. I've heard you on a few tribute albums, unless those are just weird.
Yeah, I've done a
Okay.
couple of tributes. You know your stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah, those are kind of just kind of one-off things. But
Yeah.
I know what your question is. A good question, but I've never really done covers, aside from Japanese covers.
Got it. So in general, when I look at the ascent of your career, it blows my mind that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yet it all seems to be organic as opposed to just sitting around going, how are we going to get bigger? So, for example, the government asking you to write a song, an official song of Japan. I can't imagine that was the game plan when you moved to Japan. And was it '03?
Yeah. It definitely wasn't the game plan. Would have never dreamed. I would have never dreamed that I was going to actually live here. I'm just like a rock and roll guitar player from DC.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would have never dreamed that I'd become an ambassador to Japan Heritage and write a piece of music for myself in the Tokyo Philharmonic.
Yeah.
But these things happen if you just keep going ahead and keep just doing what you want to do. Sometimes people you don't expect to come to the party show up. I mean, I've never really been the most mainstream, trendy type of artist at all. Never had the big, huge moment of really trendy moment, but probably because of that, I've been able to keep a steady growth in my career, very little by little, and not backtrack too much. So it's been fortunate that I never really had that big smash one thing that everyone knows me for. People know me for different things, and
yes,
that's fine.
It gets harder and harder to define you. That's where I was kind of leading with, because they used to use that term, oh, he's the Ryan Seacrest of Japan. I whatever that is. But, the thousands of television appearances over time, because I got to see back in the day, Rock Fujiyama, some clips that loved that. That was just looked like it was a lot of fun. And you've written books and newspaper articles. And so, as you said, a lot of people know you from different things. So at this point in your career, it's hard to just go, yeah, that guitar player, Marty Friedman. Was there ever a point when you were just, and feel free to go, no, that's a stupid question, but was there ever a point where you kind of went, man, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm losing track of guitar, I don't want to be thought of as anything but a guitar player?
Well, no, not really, but I guess maybe a couple albums ago, around Wall of Sound time, it got to the point where I was just doing so much television that it started to mentally click that at least in Japan, more people were knowing me from television and that type of appearances than for music. Although the television stuff only helped my music. It only helps spread the music. It only helps promote me. I mean, in Japan, if you do a tour, it's only a couple weeks long at the longest. So what are you going to do for the other 50 weeks? So I'm very thankful to have other outlets, but then I really wanted to make a statement with Wall of Sound that even though people might know me from other public things, that my music is really the only reason I'm really here, and everything else is just kind of a bonus. So Wall of Sound, I really kind of outdid myself, and I think it's my best all original album by far. And I've always put everything into my music, and sometimes the times you put nothing into it is when you succeed, and when you put everything into it, nobody cares. It's so weird that way, but I cannot complain, and I just do what I do, and if anybody joins the party, that's great.
I can't figure out if you are working 18 hours a day on everything, or you're kind of a first take kind of artist. If I didn't get it on the first take, we'll do a second and then screw it. I can't figure that out about you.
Well, definitely not that. I often get things in the first take, but I also often take 150 takes to get a 2-second line down. So there's really no rhyme or reason. It's just getting what's in here and in here, getting it out till I think it's okay. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes not. I only know when it's right, and if it's right away, then all the better. Go out and grab something to eat. But if it's not right, I'm in there all day and all night till it does.
So I know music is an all-involving kind of thing for you, but what's your number 2 hobby or passion? That one I couldn't figure out either.
I don't really have hobbies, so to speak. Yeah, if I was in Vegas, I'd be gambling. I love gambling. Yeah, I mean, my music allows me to enjoy other things that would be normally called a hobby, like traveling. Obviously, because of my music, I'm traveling, not recently, but traveling all the time, and being in parts of different cultures and meeting people from other cultures and learning about their cultures and especially their music. Kind of all anything that would be a hobby kind of funnels its way into my music.
I'm finding surprising hobbies from hard rock oriented people. And is it okay if I call you a hard rock person? Because I know you're done stuff in the classical realm and all that. Some people go, I am not hard rock. Like, good luck telling Yngwie he's a hard rock guy.
Whatever you call me is all right.
Well, I did my research here. I'm finding that when you speak with hard rock people, they're generally the smartest of any genre. They're the nicest. They get out all the aggression within the performing and within the craft. And in turn, they have the most surprising hobbies. And the number of heavy metal and hard rock people that are into fishing just blows my mind. So I didn't know if you're going to go, oh, number 2 is fishing or golf.
No, I'm not really coordinated enough for that. But I do know a lot of guys who are into that.
Not
when you're doing heavy metal, it's really you really all encompassed by this massive wall of chaotic noise and aggression.
Yeah.
So fishing sounds like a completely viable relaxation thing.
Got it. So one of the things that I brought up earlier was the artists who were surprisingly not huge in Japan, but are like Mount Rushmore. I remember 10, 12 years ago, something like that, when the Stones toured Japan, and it was like a small arena show, and Richie Kotzen opened up the show. And that was like the big deal, like, oh my God, Richie Kotzen's opening up those. Did you ever have the kind of interest in trying to bring more awareness to American artists that inspired you at all? And again, it's okay if this answer is no, I got enough to do, man.
That's true. I never thought about that, and I'm not really interested, only because within my own music, I'm trying to, any artist is really just trying to share their record collection with other people. You know how fun that is, and how few people want to hear about your favorite records. That's what musicians do with their music.
Yeah.
It's really it's a mirror of their life. It's a mirror of their musical life. It's a mirror of their experiences. Music that meant something to a musician finds its way in the body and finds its way out. So like, in a sense, when you're creating music, you're saying, this is what I summed up from all of my musical experiences. Check it out. And so that's kind of the only way to get that to people, because no one wants to sit in your house and go through your record collection and say, wow, where'd you get that? And tell me the story behind that. Of course, we'd love to share that with people because we love to talk about our musical experiences. But I think you got to put it into music, then you can let them have it that way, I find. Well, that's what Tokyo Jukebox 3 is, really. I mean, I would love to go through my Japanese CD collection and say, oh, this is great. You should have seen these guys at Budokan or whatever. But, who's going to listen to that? So, like, I had to put that within my music and get it in there that way.
There's always that 5 to 10% of the audience that'll really dig in and want to hear that stuff and buy everything you do and get every B-side. So
Sure.
if that 5 to 10% is big enough a number, otherwise you're correct with that one. So when you write originals, does it always get written on guitar, or have you moved on to piano?
It usually comes in my head first, a melody. And since guitar is the only instrument I can really play, that's usually where it comes out of. But when I'm making demos, I'm using all kinds of different synth sounds or whatever to get the idea down. But playing wise, I can only really play a guitar, and then I will just what's the word,
transpose, or
delegate I'll write for other instruments. I'll write for strings, I'll write for piano, and then I'll delegate that to someone who that's what they do for a living.
Got it. So you actually hear full arrangements in your head?
Sure.
Wow. Do you ever hear vocal lines also?
All the time. That's what I hear first.
Wow.
That's the most important. Without that, you don't have a song. So, and might be a little bit different from me and other people are known for playing guitar is I'm really all about pop music vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Even though what I play is very aggressive and very guitar mania going on, it's really the vocal line that keeps me interested in any song,
Mm-hmm.
whether that be pop, rock, metal, or classical music. Someone's ability to play an instrument is never a factor in whether I like something or not. I just assume that everyone can play, or else they wouldn't be making music, right? So now that that's off the table, does the music appeal to me or not?
Right.
And I find, for my taste, a strong vocal line is usually a good start.
And another thing I brought up earlier is I know the Ramones were a big early influence on you. There's moments on Wall of Sound that have that kind of vocal thing going on, just like one or two moments in my opinion. But are there unreleased Marty Friedman songs that kind of sound like the Ramones?
The closest thing is on one of my albums called Loudspeaker, I did a song called Black Orchid, where it's like one of the most intense guitar acrobatic songs there is, but the main riff, the main motif is like straight out of the Ramones. And I've never heard anything like that. Of course, it didn't set the world on fire. No one really talks about that song, but I think it's very unique because the Ramones were never known for their progressive leanings, but I forced it in there, and it's really, I think it's very, very interesting. Not that it's good or not, it's just interesting.
I have to dig into that one, and I'm going to do that. Now,
yeah, check it out. It's called Black Orchid.
Black Orchid. The most progressive thing I would say that the Ramones did was the D.D. King album. Did you ever hear the D.D. King rap album?
Oh, yeah. Funky.
Exactly. But none of that in your aspirations, I would assume. We don't see
I would love to be in a Ramones tribute band. I've done it a couple times, and it's so fun. I was in a tribute band for a couple of shows, and we played the entire Ramones live album from top to bottom, including all of the talking.
The Chicken Vindaloo part?
Yep, all that, straight from top to bottom, and it was a joy. I would love to do that again.
Cool. Well, bring it back to you here. You seem, every time I see an interview with you or read something that you've said, you seem to be a very consistent, well-tempered human being. So you seem like you've held up well during COVID-19, even though you haven't been able to do a lot of the things that you want to do. Do I have that correct, at least?
Yeah, I've held up pretty good. I mean, I've been lucky. A lot of my friends have been on tour and the plug got pulled, or worse yet, just before a tour where you've rehearsed and done pre-production and rented gear and vehicles and all that, and then plug pulls outside. Horror stories. I got none of that. I had a tour coming up that got canceled before we started any money spending. And I've had a tour postponed. I've had a Tokyo Marathon opening ceremony postponed. But aside from that, really, I've been lucky. It gave me much more time to work on Tokyo Jukebox 3. My family's healthy. I'm healthy. And I've had a lot of time to do work that I need to get done with Tokyo Jukebox 3 and 2 videos made, and a lot of other projects that, frankly, wouldn't have got done if it weren't for COVID. So I'm almost thankful. I'm not thankful for the way it happened, but I'm thankful for the chunk of time that allowed me to do other work. And so I'm one of the very fortunate ones.
I see what you mean. It gave me the chance to digitize some of my old interviews, catch up on different projects that didn't get done. In your case, did you discover any unreleased stuff, any archival stuff that you didn't know was there?
There's so much stuff that I don't know is there. I don't even go there. I'm not really I don't really go back and review stuff much. I always trying to do new stuff, and only if I were in a severe, what's the word?
Writer's
drought of drought, and I needed something. I don't even think I would go back then. I've got hard drives full of stuff that didn't make the record, but I just think there must be a reason it didn't make the record, and so I'd rather just start something new.
Fair assessment. Well, being very respectful, mindful of your time. Got time for 3 more quick questions?
Let's do them.
First one, does anyone in the world, with your permission, call you Martin? Or are you Marty to everybody?
Call me Martin?
Yeah.
Actually, people do. It happens in Japan. It happens in Japan because people like, if, for example, if I'm doing a radio program that I've never done before in a different kind of market, they might look me up on Wikipedia, and then they'll find my name is pronounced. They'll have my passport name, Martin. They have that in there, so they'll find that there. And I think they're just trying to be polite. That happens. I don't mind. But I'm doing a classical concert, and they did up a flyer for me doing it, and they put my name as Martin Friedman, and I'm like, that's not my artist name, so change it. But I don't mind it at all.
Okay. Next question has nothing to do with anything, but as a guy who likes pop, but also likes people who can really play music, what is the best Van Halen album?
I don't know, best. Everyone has their own flavor, but I like the first 2 by far the most, and I kind of fell off the boat right after that.
Refreshing answer. You don't get a lot of Van Halen 2s, but I respect
the first 2, 1 and 2.
Yes. Respect the hell out of your opinion. The closer, Marty, it can be as short as you want, as long as you want, and include as much self-promotion as you want. Any last words for the kids?
Yeah, just be safe, and the safer you all are, the sooner we'll all start touring and sweating together again. Until then, definitely check out the latest video for a song called Makinaide. It's a lot of fun. And the Tokyo Jukebox album comes out in April the 16th. And I'm pretty sure you're all going to love it. It's really a labor of love, and there's a ton of cool stuff on there that I really dig it. And hopefully you will too.
Whether it's you playing somebody to the ring, you doing a live show, you doing a studio album, whatever it is, I'm a fan. So just keep up the greatness, and looking forward to everything that's coming. That. Thank you, Marty.
Thanks for your support, Darren. I really appreciate it. Stay safe.
Paltrocast.